What's up guys, it's Tommy here and welcome to a brand new Liverpool transfer news video. And Fabrizio Romano recently revealed that Liverpool are opening talks for the Southampton defensive midfielder Romeo Lavia, who Arsenal are pursuing, but Arsenal are in the bidding war with Manchester City for Declan Rice. This is going crazy. For Declan Rice they are quoting 90 to 100 million pounds for Declan Rice, and we will talk about that a little bit later. But what do you think about Romeo Lavia? He's a 21-year-old defensive midfielder who Southampton fans are raving about, and I will share some details about why Liverpool are pursuing him. But Southampton want a pretty big transfer fee for Lavia. Between 40 and 50 million pounds is their asking price, but I think Liverpool could pay around 35 million plus bonuses and add-ons, so the transfer fee would reach maybe 50 million in total in the next like 3 or 4 years. And Liverpool of course face competition for Lavia in the form of Arsenal, but Arsenal's bigger target and Arsenal's number one target is Declan Rice at the moment. And I mean that 45-50 million that Southampton want for Lavia doesn't mean that Liverpool have to pay that, because Lavia had one great season in the Premier League in terms of he was pretty impressive in a really poor Southampton side who got relegated, but that doesn't mean that Liverpool have to pay that. I mean, Brighton wanted 60-70 million for Alexis McAllister. In the end we got him for 35 million, but because McAllister had a release clause, Lavia doesn't have a release clause. Southampton is adamant in their 50 million valuations, and I mean these price tags are absolutely ridiculous. I mean, Declan Rice is a world-class player, but he's not worth 100 million pounds, just like Jack Grealish wasn't worth 100 million pounds, but because they are English, they are Premier League proven, that's the going rate. Lavia, just because he had one good season in the Premier League doesn't mean he's worth 50 million. He's worth, in my opinion, 35, maximum 40 million. But of course it depends on what kind of scout report Liverpool scouts got about Lavia, and I don't claim to watch all the Southampton games, so I don't really know how good exactly Lavia is and how much potential he has. But Fabrizio Romano revealed that Liverpool have asked Southampton what kind of deal do they want for Lavia, what are the conditions of signing Romeo Lavia. Arsenal are working on the Romeo Lavia deal for like around 2 weeks, but no official bid, interestingly, have been submitted by any of these clubs. Man United and Chelsea are also monitoring the situation, but they are not in as active talks for Romeo Lavia as Liverpool are or Arsenal are. So Arsenal and Liverpool at the moment are definitely more interested in Lavia than other clubs. Players who are like 20 years old or younger. In Europe's top 5 leagues, Lavia has won the most possession in the middle third of the pitch with 114. Jude Bellingham is second with 107, and Giorgio Scalvini was third with 94. Jamal Musiala is on this list. Pedri, Camavinga as well. He's definitely too good to be playing in the Championship next season, where Southampton will be playing. The big question is he good enough to play for a top 6 club? I think so. He's really good, but it all depends on the transfer fee. I think if we could get him for around 40 million, that would be a pretty decent transfer fee for Lavia. And I was wrong, he's 19 years old, so not even 21. He was one of the best ball winners in the Premier League last season. Not only was he great at winning the ball, he was also great at keeping it. He was among the very best at these metrics, almost as good as Caicedo, Alexis McAllister or Thiago. Lavia also is very good at passing the ball and recycling it right after winning the ball back from the opposition. And what is also very interesting looking at his numbers, he doesn't make too many stupid passes, but indulges in a lot of duels post-recovery. He is prone to getting dispossessed sometimes, but he can dribble past players as well. One positive of that is that he wins a lot of fouls right after winning the ball, because he tries to dribble past people after winning the ball back and then he gets fouled. He was fouled 14 times right after recovering the ball last season. Romeo Lavia is mainly a defensive midfielder, and being 19 years old, he would be a project, a talent who is not ready to come into the Liverpool starting 11 straight away and to play really, really high quality, high intensity games. And that's why I would prefer maybe Manu Kone or Khéphren Thuram for this role, because because they are not playing in the Premier League, their price is actually a little bit cheaper than Lavia. Lavia he's younger and he's a little bit further back in his development than Khéphren Thuram or Manu Kone. Remember, Lavia had one top season in a really good league. Manu Kone and Khéphren Thuram already had multiple seasons in a top 5 league. What is also a plus on the plus side for this Romeo Lavia transfer is that he is homegrown at being just 19 years old, and Fabinho needs competition, and Fabinho needs a player who can push him, because he has been very up and down last season. His form has been really, really inconsistent. McAllister and Khéphren Thuram could be really good options for the box-to-box midfield role, and Thiago, Curtis Jones, Henderson, Bajcetic, Harvey, Elliott will be all rotation options for Liverpool. I mean, Lavia would be a rotation option for Fabinho as well. Liverpool have to be very, very smart and very careful in their scouting, because as I said, we cannot waste even one of our transfers on a player who doesn't get better and who doesn't help Liverpool and who doesn't improve Liverpool's midfield. I would prefer Manu Kone to be signed as an out-and-out defensive midfielder, but Romeo Lavia, if we sign him, that will allow us to sign other players who are not homegrown players, because Lavia is homegrown. So if we sign Manu Kone, then we only can sign one more player who is not homegrown, and that limits Liverpool's options. And how I see Liverpool's midfield strategy is we already signed an out-and-out starter midfielder in Alexis McAllister, and we are going for many other targets, but any of Khéphren Thuram or Ryan Gravenberch or Lavia or Manu Kone, if we sign any of these 4 players, or maybe we sign 2 of these 4, any of them comes in, they will not be straight away regular starters. The only player that I can see being a regular starter maybe next season is Khéphren Thuram on top of Alexis McAllister, because he has really, really good physical qualities, and if he hits the ground running, I can see him maybe starting ahead of Henderson. But how I see it is Fabinho will start in the defensive midfield, Alexis McAllister will start on one side, and on the other side either Thiago or Henderson or Curtis Jones or Harvey Elliott, depending on the opposition, the fitness of these players, the form of these players, and also what kind of tactics, what kind of strategy Jurgen Klopp wants to deploy. If we sign Romeo Lavia, he won't be under an immediate pressure to start straight away. He can gain experience on the training ground, he can gain experience in the Europa League, in the League Cup, sometimes starting in the Premier League. But basically any of these players that we sign, they will probably get one season to get accustomed with the tactics, to get settled into the team. In the case of Khéphren Thuram or Manu Kone or Gravenberch, to get settled into a new country. But it's also very encouraging that Liverpool are looking at defensive midfielders and not just box-to-box midfielders, because I think we need both. We already have an attacking midfielder in Alexis McAllister who can play the box-to-box role as well. Important to know that. And if we sign another box-to-box midfielder plus a defensive midfielder, I would be very happy with our midfield transfers for this summer transfer window. And many Liverpool fans, I think, would be happy with signing 2 players out of Romeo Lavia, Manu Kone, Khéphren Thuram, Grabi Vega. Gravenberch, it looks like, will stay at Bayern Munich. The latest that I'm hearing and reading, Gravenberch said that he wants to stay at Bayern. He wants to fight for his place next season, so maybe the Gravenberch transfer is off the table. But all of these other players, they are young, talented enough that I think Jurgen Klopp can mold them and develop them into top-class midfielders in any position of defensive midfielder, box-to-box midfielder, attacking midfielder. I mean, Nicolo Barella would be the absolute dream. He would be probably even a better signing than Alexis McAllister, but he would cost an absolute fortune, because Inter won't sell for anything less than 60-70 million pounds. And for that price, we can sign 2 midfielders. And I think that would be a smarter move, because Liverpool have lost so many midfielders this summer. And a Liverpool fan who watched Southampton regularly last season, he said that Lavia is criminally underrated. This kid is an absolute monster of a talent. Every time he has watched Southampton, this Liverpool fan, he said Lavia stood out and he was hugely impressive even when they faced the best teams. He's press resistant, he dribbles well, he orientates himself in a mature way, good short passing, decent long range passing, and he's a fine ball winner. His heading, crossing and goal scoring threat is poor though. I highly doubt most people preferring Kone have watched any of the players all that much. And also another Liverpool fan said that 2 of those 3 weak points that the previous fan mentioned, it's not really a concern in Jurgen Klopp's system, because Lavia wouldn't be needing to put in many crosses into the box, being a defensive midfielder, and also goal output is not a priority for a defensive midfielder. The third one, not being very tall, is a little bit of concern, because he would need to win aerial battles as a defensive midfielder. And I think Lavia playing behind Fabinho as an understudy and developing and learning the tactics and the system and everything, that would be actually not the worst idea. It all depends on the price. If Southampton want 50 million upfront, I would walk away. But if they would be happy with like 35 million plus bonuses and add-ons, then I would be very interested in doing this deal. And Fabrizio Romano also posted an update on Bobby Firmino's situation. Al Ahly are advancing to final stages of Roberto Firmino deal. They put a 3-year contract on the table with 20 million euros per year, and Firmino's side is discussing some details before giving the green light to the deal, and Bobby Firmino could be unveiled by Al Ahly. I'm not sure if that's a good move for Firmino. It's a good move for him financially, but maybe he thinks that he just wants a last big paycheck, and then he will probably go back to Brazil to stay with his family. I recently watched the Bobby Firmino documentary that Liverpool FC made, and it's quite brilliant, and it gives an insight on how much of a family man Bobby Firmino is, and he just wants what's best for his family. He bought his parents a new house and everything that he's trying to do for his 4 daughters and his wife. Probably he just wants to set up his whole family tree up for life, for generations. And Neil Jones is saying that Manu Kone and Gabriel Veiga are not as much admired by Liverpool as much as Kefren Thuram and Ryan Gravenberch, and that's why, I've been making a lot of videos about Thuram and Gravenberch recently, because they are admired by Liverpool, because they are really tall, muscular, energetic and dynamic midfielders that Liverpool really need. So what do you think about all the transfer targets that we talked about in this video? And thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed this. Have a nice day. See you later. Goodbye.